Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're finally back with more of our WOR highlights. Yes, it's been a little bit of a while since we made the video all the way back at the second race of the year from Suzuka, wasn't it? Obviously Bahrain didn't quite go my way, never made a video from that. May or may not have bottled it on lap 1 by myself. Of course Suzuka made a small mistake in the safety car but managed to recover and get our first points on the board. Unfortunately couldn't race in round 3, unfortunately I wasn't feeling very well and yeah, just couldn't even make videos at the time. So today we're back with round 4 of the year from the Canadian Grand Prix. And yeah, 1 point after just 4 races so far. It's been a tough start to the campaign, but fingers crossed, you know, coming into this one. I always like Canada as a race circuit. Very, very difficult though to get right on F1 2021. Of course, the reshaped curbs have made this place a whole lot more difficult there. Of course, my fastest lap currently going on in the background there. You can see TTM Callum sets a 109.2 at this stage of the session there. We're currently sat on a 109.4 qualifying pace. I've certainly tried to work on over the last few weeks as well though. As we head down in towards the hairpin, we're currently about half a tenth down as we head through here. They're going to get a really, really nice run though through the hairpin, get the front end really nicely pointed in there, and now we're about half a tenth up as we head down in towards the final couple of corners of the lap. We're currently sat about provisional P4, but I'm sort of looking at Limpjet there and TCM Rossi. Maybe we can go slightly quicker than these guys if we nail the final chicane of the lap. They're a little bit wide on the way in there, cost us a run on the way out there, but we are going to still find a bit more time. We're going to be a tenth up as we cross the line, and that's going to put us P3 at the end of qualifying there. So rather happy with that lap as well. They're sort of trying to see if, you know, sort of starting higher up the order is going to give us a big helping hand later on in the campaign. You see just 8 thousandths of a second though off Limpjet at the end of qualifying. But it is Callum that takes pole in the Mercedes there. Limpjet, myself, Rossi in the top 4 there. FRT Liam 5th ahead of Sam at 95 F1 in P6 there. Daegu, Martins, Nomad and Chris round out your top 10. You can see one of my teammates, Ben, in P11 at the end of the session there. But of course, if you guys are new around here, make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed. We're trying to hit 500 subs on the channel as well. This would be greatly appreciated if you could help me get one step closer to that. But in terms though of strategy here at Canada, I always like to go a bit aggressive on the tyres. You know, I set up my setups so, you know, we can be a little bit more aggressive on the rubber as well. So we're going to do soft, medium, soft for this one here today. Not too sure if there's going to be much difference between the softs and the mediums over a stint, but, you know, safety cars are going to be a thing around here as well. Of course, mistakes can really easily be made early on when the field is all bunched up as well. So we're going to run pretty much even on the fuel, you know, just don't want to take the gamble just in case as well there. But yeah, we're going to have plenty more WR highlights coming out over the coming week. You know, we've got a break week now in the real season, so yeah, we're going to try and catch up on the videos once again and obviously provide you guys with content as it happens from now on in the second half of the year. But getting ready then on the grid for the Canadian Grand Prix here, round 4 of the year, starting from P3. Fingers crossed we can try and get some good points on the board here today. There, Callum in the Mercedes, Limpjet in the AlphaTauri just confirmed us there. We're of course in the Haas still in this season. But getting ready then, waiting on those 5 red lights, here the engine revs build up. It's 5 red lights for the Canadian Grand Prix, and it is gonna be lights out, and away we go then. Not responding too well off the start. Big truck wheel spin as we head down in towards turn 1 there. We've got a Ferrari on the inside there. We outbrake him through turn 1 there as we were 3 wide for a brief moment there. We actually get a warning for contact with Liam off the start there. We do hold on to P3 early on in the Grand Prix there, and now immediately you've got to try and avoid cutting corners there as we just trim the apex through turn 4 there, and that was not really what we wanted to do at the start of this race.
Officials aren't looking to push for a safety car right now, just be careful.
Incident already there, as it looks to be one of the Williams towards the rear of the field. They're either a Williams or an Alpine there. But yeah, decent start for ourselves. So of course, yeah, like I said, you've got to try and avoid cutting corners and also remain in the DRS here. DRS so important still on F1 2021, just like it was on F1 2020 as well. As we head down in towards the hairpin, you know, trying to just work out what the tyres are doing early on. You know, the setups I run, like I said, they're a bit better on the tyres, but on the other hand, they do therefore take a little bit longer to heat up normally as well. You see Callum at the front already trying to run away. They're trying to build up that 1 second margin over Limpjet just behind him there as we head down through the final chicane. They're very, very conservative through the final corner there, but probably still slightly better than we were able to manage on our qualifying run there. Callum about 1.6 ahead of myself at the end of lap 1. Limpjet pretty much splat bang in the middle as well there. But yeah, we've survived the opening lap though of the Grand Prix. You can see actually a couple of cars into the pit lane there as well, so there certainly has been a few instances towards the rear of the field. But yeah, now we've got to try and just settle down, try to build up a gap to TTM Rossi just behind us, who's currently sat just 3.5 tenths behind, actually, as we head through the next couple of corners here. But on to lap 3 we go there. You can just see running again a little bit wide through turn 3 there. That means we just have to trim the apex through turn 4 and pick up another warning in this Grand Prix there. And then again just running a little bit wide through turn 6 there. Just hit the wheel on the grass on the way in there, and that completely upsets the rhythm of the car there. And that means Limpjet now is over the 1 second margin in front of us, so we are going to be very, very vulnerable over these next couple of laps there to TTM Rossi behind. So we need to get our head down, we need to focus there as Liam picks up a 3-second time penalty and drops behind Sam in the Grand Prix just behind us. But now surely Rossi is going to be thinking about trying to line up a move here, so we'll have to see just how strong the DRS is early on in this race there. We've got to just try and make sure we get into a rhythm and focus on trying to close back up the gap to Limpjet. Of course, he doesn't have any DRS to Callum in front of him. You can see Rossi gaining there, but thinks better of it, luckily enough, in towards the final chicane there. You really need to get the car pretty much fully alongside to really try and make anything work in towards that final chicane. So we've got yellow flags out behind there. It's one of the Alpines has gone round as Callum and I side by side through turn 1 there. Sorry, Rossi even, I should say. And we do hold on somehow to that position there. The safety car also gets deployed, and I'll be honest, that was 50-50 between Rossi and myself there, who was really deserved to hold on to the position there. But the game's given it to me, so we will take it and dive into the pits at the end of lap 4 there. I basically just decided we were going to do whatever Callum and Limpjet in front of us did in terms of strategy there. Rossi has backed up the pack as well behind us, of course, teammates with Callum there, so that's going to mean we get a slightly safer pit exit, obviously in the Haas car as well, right at the end of the pit box there. We do hold on to P3 there. Everyone diving into the pit lane here, but of course, unfortunately, with the safety cars here at Canada, it does also mean that really, one safety car can tend to lead to another one as the field gets bunched back up here. So heading back out of the pit lane, still in P3 at the moment, is going to give us a second chance to try and close up to Callum and Limpjet here, and hopefully now go long on this second stint. I think it does probably mean, obviously, we're more likely to get locked in to a double medium strategy here today as well. You can see just how aggressively Callum and Limpjet trying to build up heat in their rear tyres there. Obviously, I'm very, very conscious of doing anything like that too much there, obviously, after what happened at Suzuka a couple of weeks ago. But getting ready then to restart this race. You can see they're both still trying to build up tyre temperature there. We're just doing the Kimi Raikkonen strat behind them here, obviously getting ready to go green there. But when is Callum going to go? There he goes. Callum does put the hammer down there. Limpjet doesn't respond very well to that as we head in towards the final couple of corners of the restart. They're very, very cautious through the final chicane. We know how difficult that can be on cold rubber as well. But yeah, Callum has absolutely nailed the restart at the front of the field there. Pretty much built up the 1 second margin that he needs immediately, as we've now got to try and get these tyres back into the heat cycle once more there as we head through the next few corners though. More yellow flags out, more carnage at the rear of the field, and that's going to bring out another safety car on lap 8, and this is what I mean at Circuit Giovinazzi. Of course, there's just so often you'll find that one safety car will lead to another here. Everyone gets bunched back up, everything like that. So the end of lap 10, we are going to go green once more here, waiting again on Callum to try and go there, and he actually goes a lot earlier this time around there. We get a lot more wheel spin. Limpjet responds actually quite nicely to the restart this time as we head through the final chicane there, again trying to take as much curb as we possibly dare there. A bigger kick, a wheel spin on the exit though, as Sam now is going to try and have a look back up the inside in towards turn 1 there. Can't quite get close enough, thinks better of it, so we can turn in to the apex there. And again now, we've got to try and get our head back down, focus on building up the pace, keeping the consistency as well as we head back down in towards turn 3 and turn 4 there. And that time around we just take a bit too much curb through turn 3, and that is going to give us a 3-second time penalty in this Grand Prix. And this is something I still really need to focus on F1 2021, is just trying to avoid those silly little warnings that we do seem to be picking up there. Because of course, if you get a late race safety car, something that might have gained you half a tenth at the time can really cost you, of course, at the end of a Grand Prix there. Making a big mistake though as we head through the final corner, going way too hot on the entry there, trying to avoid picking up another warning there. And Sam now is going to try and look up the inside there, sets the fast for the Grand Prix. We're not going to back out of it though. Try and hook it up around the outside there. It gives us a big squeeze through turn 2 there. We're going to be pretty even on the power on the exit there, but Sam with the straighter run off the corner there gets right around the outside there. I think about keeping the nose up the inside, but don't think we've got enough of the car there. And again, another warning in this Grand Prix. What am I doing at the moment here? Just trying to get into a rhythm there. Looks like Levy Martins has retired. We get another safety car as well. 3 safety cars inside 14 laps here. We're barely getting any running in this Grand Prix there, and it's just so frustrating early on. The fact we just can't seem to settle down into a good rhythm, you know, sort of 10 laps or so in this race. But the end of lap 14, actually now split strategies coming into this there. Callum and Sam in front of us pitting in there, but myself and Limpjet opt to stay out here. You know, we want to try and do mediums to the end of the Grand Prix. I just don't think the hard tyres work here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve as well there. So that's going to make things rather interesting as the race goes on there. You know, which strategy is going to work out a bit better later on in this GP there. But you can see following on behind the safety car, end of lap 16 here, just trying to, you know, keep the tyres in good nick there. Unfortunately, Lipjet's going to come right across us on the exit of the hairpin there, and unfortunately Gramesy is going to run into the back of me there, so that's going to give me a 5-second penalty. Gramesy gets nothing though for that one, and I mean, he certainly didn't deserve a penalty. He did pick up front wing damage from that as well there, but not really a lot we could have done in that situation. They had to avoid Limpjet, of course, because we would get a 5-second penalty for hitting him, so we were kind of in a rock and a hard place at this stage of the Grand Prix there, but now we need to try and respond well off the restart here. Limpjet goes again as we head in towards the final chicane here. Make sure we keep it just nice and tidy through the final corner this time around there, but we just clip the curb on the exit of the final corner there, wallop the inside wall. That's going to give us front wing damage. It's going to put us to the rear of the field. We're going to have to get a new front wing as well there, and a heartbreaking mistake at the halfway stage of the Canadian Grand Prix. It's going to put us into P11
back up to racing
of
speed.
this racer, and what a frustrating error there. Just tipped the wheels too much through the inside curve of the final corner there. That puts us on the outside curve, of course, so aggressive on F1 2021, and that sent us round here in the Canadian Grand Prix there. So we're going to have to go on to hards. We're going to have to take this 5-second penalty as well that we got for the contact with Gramesy there. That, I mean, again, I didn't think we deserved in this racer. Just F1 2021 league racing goes from bad to worse for us. We just cannot catch a break early on in the season there. But I thought, you know, if we get another safety car over the next few laps, definitely I can still try and recover something from this Grand Prix as well. There is now, it's going to be one of the longest pit stops you'll see on F1 2021 as well. There's going to be, what, like 13-14 seconds in this Grand Prix. 13.5 seconds. You love to see it. So we're now well over half a lap behind the rest of the field there on worse rubber as well. And yeah, like I said though, trying to keep our head down, praying for another safety car in this Grand Prix. But of course, when we get screwed, nothing more would happen between now and the final lap of the Grand Prix here. Unfortunately, so yeah, we are going to be still at the back of the field there. AVS fan made a mistake as well, that we're actually going to pit onto a set of soft compound tyres right at the very end there to try and go for the fastest lap of the Grand Prix as well. But it does still look like it is Callum and Sam at the front of the field there, so they've really nailed that strategy of pitting out to those rubber when they did as well. As we head on to the final lap then of the Canadian Grand Prix, a lap down at this stage. It has been a frustrating day once more. Really just hoping to catch a break on F1 2021 there. But we are going to try and go for fastest lap right at the end of this one, so we'll let you guys ride on board with this final lap. They're obviously trying to avoid getting any warnings, anything like that. You know, if we can sneak away the fastest lap bonus point from someone else, I'd be rather happy with that one there. So purple through sector 1, a second up on any other lap we had done in this Grand Prix as well. And of course, the only real sort of good running we had was very, very early on in this GP there. As we head down in towards the next chicane, you can see just really getting a lot of curb through there. And this was the thing, it was, pace generally was absolutely fine. It just seemed to be that one mistake at exactly the worst time of the Grand Prix that completely screwed us in this race. Running a bit deep through the hairpin with purple through sector 2 as well. So now we're going to completely drain the battery as we head down in towards the final couple of corners of the Grand Prix. They're actually taking a lot of time out of Sam in front of us there. But unfortunately, Liam is going to retire from the Grand Prix there. But because we went a lap down here at Canada, unfortunately, it's going to be, we still finished P11 behind him there as well. So yeah, just could not catch a break here on the game. Set a 1:10.4 fastest lap at the end of the day there. But of course, yeah, it is going to account for nothing as well. So yeah, even more gutted the fact that we didn't even pick up the point because of course Liam retired on the final lap of the Grand Prix there and still claimed that 1 point ahead of us there. But yeah, having a look then at the final race results, it was actually Sam who took home the dub there. Of course, Callum must have picked up some penalties late on in the GP there, so GG's to Sam, a brilliant recovery drive from him there. McLaren in at P3 there of Alex Dagu as well there. So another interesting race at the front of the field there. Just shame we couldn't get involved with it when all is said and done there. But yeah, we'll be back next time around though at the Austrian Grand Prix for round 5 of the year. Fingers crossed the track, you know, can play into our hands just a little bit more than the last few Grand Prix have had as well. They're picking up some extra milestones though on F1 2021 as well from our league racing ventures as well. They see we are going to gain a lot of XP and move up to level 14. You love to see it as well there. So a few more unlockables have been claimed as well there. But having a look at the final race results, you can see it is, yes, Sam ahead of Callum and Alex. Groundsy does recover to P4. They're ahead of Libjet and TTM Rossi there. Chris, Pina, AVS, and Liam there rounding out your top 10 there. And we finished the lap down there ahead of Levy, Ben, and Nomad, who all didn't make it to the checkered flag. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, nonetheless, do make sure you leave a like. Get yourself subscribed as well. And yeah, we'll be back very, very soon with more F1 2021.